Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. Recently, we've seen several concerning violent incidents in our community. Any loss of life is devastating, especially when it's due to violence. When tragedy occurs in our community, we collectively grieve as one Howard County family. Our hearts break for the families and friends of those who were injured or killed. This is a time when community support is more meaningful than ever. We should work to ensure that our residents are safe and feel safe. This series of violent events is disturbing and impacts our ability to feel safe. Working closely with our Howard County Police Department and other stakeholders, we remain committed to taking strong measures to ensure that public safety remains a priority. Until 2021, our police department was collecting data under the summary reporting system, which recorded only the most serious offense in an incident. In 2022, the county transitioned to the National Incident-Based Reporting System, offering a more comprehensive view that now captures all offenses within a single incident. This means that while the number of reported crimes may appear higher under this new system, it reflects more detailed accounting rather than an actual increase in crime incidents. For example, during the last 5 years, overall violent crime is down by 8%, and aggravated assault decreased by approximately 18%. However, while we know in a county of more than 330,000 people there will never be zero crime, each and every crime is one too many. Even though Howard County has roughly 23 crimes per 1,000 residents, which is statistically very low, each and every resident who has been a subject of crime suffers. Long-term reductions in crime data mean little when we see multiple acts of violence in short periods of time. I've been working closely with Police Chief Gregory Durr and our entire police department to address these issues and create solutions moving forward. Our police officers have been working diligently to make quick arrests in these dangerous and deadly incidences, and I am grateful for their work. Let me be clear. Any act of violence is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. The safety of our community is my highest priority, and I recognize we still have work to do. People now want to serve in our Howard County Police Department. In fact, we recently graduated the largest police academy in 30 years. During my time as your Howard County executive, we have added 24 new patrol positions to the Howard County Police Department, marking the largest increase in sworn personnel in 15 years. However, gun crimes committed by our young people are plaguing many communities across our nation, and Howard County is not immune. While a vast majority of gun crimes committed by our young people are targeted, it does not eliminate the importance of our crime reduction efforts. Tragically, we have also seen a significant increase in domestic violence deaths in our communities. More than half of the homicide victims during the last year were killed by a family member. These sad incidences are a reminder of the value of mental health treatment and quick crisis interventions. In June of 2021, we announced a partnership with Grassroots Crisis Intervention Center and the Howard County Police Department to defer non-emergency mental health 911 calls to counselors. The Communications-Initiated Referral to Crisis program allows dispatchers to divert qualifying calls to a certified counselor at Grassroots. In the last year alone, our Grassroots mobile crisis team responded to nearly 1,000 200 behavioral and mental health crises that were diverted from 911. Across all of grassroots services in the last year, there were more than 78,000 calls to the crisis line, as well as over 24,000 texts or chats to 988, totaling more than 100,000 crisis contacts in the last year. That equates to a third of our county's population. These interventions would not be complete without our investments in the Johns Hopkins Howard County Medical Center's Behavioral Mental Health Unit and in Shepherd Pratt. Collectively, these facilities have drastically increased their bed capacity so they can help even more of our residents who are in crisis. In addition, we have been working with our state and federal partners on expanding our 988 program. Overall call volume in our region has increased by approximately 90% from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And in 2024, approximately 11% of all 988 calls in our region were attributed to Howard County. Now, we remain fortunate to have a dedicated community who comes together in the most challenging of times. I implore you to look out for your family members, your neighbors, and those in your lives who may be struggling in silence. Help is always available. The past few years have been especially hard on our young people. As a community, we have collectively experienced trauma, hardships, and loss due to the pandemic and the after effects. However, our young people who are still developing and learning crucial life skills were among the most severely impacted. That is why we launched our Youth Engagement Programming Initiative, or YEP, in 2023, which primarily serves young people between the ages of 10 and 18. During the last 2 years, we have invested more than $1.5 million into this program, supporting the creation of nearly 40 programs for our young people. During the 23-24 YEP program year, more than 10,000 young people participated in a YEP activity across Howard County. And this year, we're continuing that program through partnerships with approximately 33 grantees to offer free and low-cost programming across Howard County. These programs are particularly important for young people who need positive engagement opportunities outside of school hours. Programs focus on mentorship, recreation, life skills, sports, employment, and more, all aimed at ensuring that our young people are supported, valued, and know that they are not here alone. Just last night, our team brought together a small group of community partners who directly interact with some of our young people for a roundtable discussion on how we can better support our young people, particularly those who are in crisis and need the most positive engagement. And we will continue these constructive community conversations as we develop and build even more meaningful solutions for our young people. I want to thank our community for your diligence, your advocacy, and your dedication to making our community a safe place for all of our residents and businesses. We can only be successful if we work together. And while we still have work to do, I know that we can be successful for our community. Together, we will ensure our community is one where everyone is not only safe, but feels safe. And I remain dedicated to that critically important priority, and I know that our partners do too. Thank you.
Next up is the Howard County Police Chief, Gregory Durr.
Good afternoon. When crime trends emerge, the police department makes strategic decisions about resource allocation, community education, and crime fighting strategies. With recent events, we are establishing an enhanced safety and security plan in and around the mall in Columbia. Resources will be appropriately allocated to make this possible. A captain is being assigned to serve as the unit commander and will assess resource needs. The plan includes increasing high-visibility marked patrol cars and uniform officers patrolling in and around the mall. It also includes a series of covert and undercover details to supplement and support the uniformed officers. Detectives will identify and address areas around the mall where there has been an increase in criminal activity. Patrol units in the area will assist as needed to ensure all available resources are utilized, as this is our top priority. A team of community outreach officers will be reassigned to the mall and nearby pathways to enhance security coverage and gather information. The Howard County Police Department will work with the mall to use their extensive security camera system to identify those who engage in criminal activity around the mall. The department will assign drone operators to the detail to ensure an overhead view as appropriate and necessary to assist officers on the ground. The commander of the unit will work closely with school resource officers to help identify juveniles who are known to be committing violent crimes in the area. A crime analysis team will provide information about emerging trends or troubled areas. Howard County sees small fluctuations up and down in crime categories from year to year, so evaluations over long periods of time provide the most accurate trends. But when we see an ongoing problem, we will take all necessary measures and strategies to address it. We are also announcing a new partnership with adult parole and probation. The department is working to enhance safety for parole officers by joining them on home visits. While this is not yet an option for juvenile offenders, we will be working to ensure adult offenders are not in violation. Over the last 5 years, the Howard County Police Department has created and grown crime reduction teams to focus on gun violations and associated criminal activity, particularly for repeat offenders. These are collaborative teams that can have a real impact on local crimes. Throughout their investigations, they continuously share valuable investigative information to aid internal and external partners in furthering cases. We are grateful to have the support of the Sheriff's Office, which was involved in the immediate response to the scene at the mall, and the State's Attorney's Office. As an agency, we know responding to crime is not enough. We must develop strategic crime reduction strategies to make Howard County the safest it could possibly be for our residents and visitors. I would like to take this time, while I have all the media outlets here, to take a reminder. William Marshall was wanted for murder in Howard County. Okay? This individual is 18 years old. He has no resources. He has no place to stay. Somebody is providing him resources, and he's staying with somebody. So I need the help of everybody out there to make sure that we capture this individual. And we're not going to quit until we find him.
Thanks, Chief. Next up is the Howard County Superintendent of Schools, Bill Barnes.
So good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this important conversation. This team I'm here with today is working together to find and put in place solutions designed to keep our students and communities safe. Specifically, I want to extend my gratitude and appreciation to Police Chief Durr for your close partnership. I'm grateful that you took the time to keep me informed all throughout Saturday evening as you were receiving information. Your proactive efforts allowed us to prepare timely community messages and gave us a huge head start in putting in place crisis supports for our students, staff, and community members. This has been a very difficult week for the families of the victims, our students, staff, and community members all across Howard County. It is difficult to conceive of a more tragic situation than the senseless death of a child. I grieve alongside of each of you as we try to understand why Michael Robertson and Blake McCrae, two of our students, were victims of a senseless crime. We grieve, but naturally we also experience a sense of anger as youth violence across our community, across our state, and across our nation is on the rise. And it impacts what happens in our communities and what happens in our schools. I assure you that like those standing with me today, we have lots of questions, and we're seeking answers to those questions so we can keep people safe and we can address the issue at hand. During my brief remarks this afternoon, I want to provide the answers to the two most common questions I've been fielding over the past week. One, what and when did we learn about the student who is now a suspect in the Columbia Mall shooting? And two, what is our Passages program, a program that served that student? I'll begin with the timeline related to the student who is suspected in the shooting. On December 19th, we requested information from the Howard County Police Department because we learned of a possible charge related to the student. And right away, by December 20th, the police provided us with the information regarding the reportable offense from that charge. We also became aware, in working with the student, that the student was being monitored electronically, and he reported that to the central office staff. As a result of this information, our team worked hard to develop an alternative placement for education and support, and to put together a support and safety plan so that all students and staff would be safe. So this student never attended his designated school after the December 13th charge. He instead attended a virtual school for a period of time, and then he was placed into what we call a Passages program. This is a new program to Howard County. It's reconstituted, and I put it in place in the wake of the arrest of a student at Howard High School this fall. In short, Passages provides enhanced services for students who require additional support and supervision upon transitioning back to school from after committing a reportable offense or after placement in a facility such as a youth detention center. I want to clarify that this Passages program is not tied to the Department of Juvenile Services, the police, or any other entity. It is an alternative instructional program that was created to meet the individualized needs of students in these situations. The program provides students with the support necessary to help them transition back into a school environment while allowing them to continue with their high school coursework. I want to close by extending gratitude to school system staff for the way they've responded following this event on Saturday evening. Our crisis intervention team, in partnership with school administrators, were particularly instrumental over the weekend and throughout this week, preparing and administering support to those many students, staff, and community members who are struggling with the events from the past weekend. And thank you to those who are here with me today who helped demonstrate the gravity of this situation, including our board chair, Jolene Mosley, County Executive Calvin Ball, Police Chief Greg Durr, State's Attorney Rich Gibson, and others. I appreciate your commitment and your partnership as we work towards the solutions that our schools and communities deserve. And we're working together, to be clear, to make sure that our community and schools are safe places to live and learn. Thank you.
I'll invite to the podium State's Attorney Rich Gibson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. I'll take a moment to clear up some issues regarding the role of the prosecutor's office, as well as share a few thoughts on the work that we do to ensure justice in our community. First and foremost, the job of the prosecutor is to ensure that justice is done fairly on behalf of the entire community. It is our duty to apply the law in a just and unbiased manner. However, it is important to note that we do not control when or if crimes occur. That decision rests with the people who choose to commit the crime. While we work closely with our law enforcement partners to ensure that each case is properly investigated and the facts are accurately presented. We work to ensure law enforcement acts lawfully in the enforcement of the law. Once a case is prepared, it is our responsibility to make the charging decision, offer plea agreements when appropriate, and when necessary, take the case to trial. In court, we present evidence in a way that we believe is persuasive to the fact finder, whether that be judge or jury. Should a guilty verdict be reached, we also make sentencing recommendations to the court that reflect the totality of the circumstances surrounding the crime committed and the defendant who committed those crimes. Judges, after consideration of our recommendation, defense counsel's recommendation, and any other information presented at the hearing, make the ultimate decision as to what the sentence will be. This also applies to bail reviews and motions hearings. The judges are the entity that make the final decision of what happens to the defendant. While I cannot promise completely safe community, because public safety is influenced by many variables and factors outside of our control, what I can promise is that we will approach crime in our county with a well-prepared, organized, and energetic strategy. We will enforce the laws vigorously and fairly, with public safety being a top priority at all times. Now, regarding the tragic events that took place at the mall last Saturday and early Monday morning, my heart goes out to the families affected. These are extremely difficult times, and I want the community to know that we're committed to addressing these cases with the utmost care and diligence. However, I must make clear that I cannot and will not discuss the specifics of either case at this time, as there are still pending matters before my office. Doing so could compromise the integrity of the investigation and jeopardize potential conviction in the cases. Both Mr. Emerson Zaya and Mr. D'Angelo Smith are currently presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We do not try cases in the court of public opinion. We try cases in courtrooms. In regard to Mr. Zaya's case, I want to assure the public that I will be personally handling that matter and be trying the case myself. As for both cases, we are still in the process of gathering all necessary evidence, and we are preparing to present them for indictment, where they will be formally charged in the very near future. Thank you.